In this version of the trolley problem, you have a right to choose your own life and kill the 5. Because if not, then technically the state is murdering you, forcing you to sacrifice your own life. Nobody can be denied to choose their own life and/or health. Self-defense is self-defense. In most civilized countries, the death penalty is eradicated. The state doesn't even have the right to kill a mass murderer terrorist, but somehow people want to say the state should have the right to kill an innocent. Why? Because he was alone. That's ridiculous. You can choose your own life. Now think about this case. Your daughter invites her best friend to a concert. She buys the ticket to the best friend. Your daughter is the only reason the best friend goes. Now, if a panic happens, and people start stomping each other to death, now best friend trips and starts falling, but grabs your daughter in panic. Now your daughter faces the choice. Either she yanks away her hand, and the friend ends up on the ground, which is a sure death in this scenario, or she falls and dies, so the friend might find balance. Your daughter still has the right to choose herself. Even if she is the sole reason her bestie is there at the concert, she can save her own life. The state cannot say the best friend is more important. The state cannot kill a terrorist. How could it kill a girl whose crime was buying an extra ticket?
A girl has sex with a boy. They both consent. They only want to have sex, which is not illegal, but they do not want a baby, and they even use protection. An accident happens and the girl gets pregnant. So they having sex is the only reason a fetus was created. But the woman don't want to be in a pregnant condition, which can cause her death, stroke, epilepsy, and a lot of other harm, including having either a belly or vagina ripped open. She has every right to choose herself and defend her own body. The state cannot say the baby is more important. The state cannot kill a terrorist. How could it force someone to risk death whose crime was having consensual sex?
Now back to the trolley problem. Think about this version of the trolley problem. The trolley is about to hit you, and you cannot escape from the tracks, but you can pull a lever, and it will direct the train to another track. But on that track, there are 5 people stuck, and the train will kill them. In that case, you have the right to kill the 5 people. Because if you don't have the legal right, technically the state is forcing you to die. Now, what if the train would only cut off both of your legs? The state still cannot force you to sacrifice your body and live disabled. So you have the legal right to self-defense and kill the 5 people. Now what if it's only your hand? Still the state cannot force you to amputate your hand to save strangers. Now what if the train will go through you, but you will survive, but it will cut your stomach? There will be a minimal scar on your stomach, and your recovery time will be a month. The state still cannot force you to sacrifice your health, potentially risk death, and be robbed of a whole month. So answer me this: why shouldn't women kill a baby to not get their stomach or vagina ripped, and have a 2 to 6 month long recovery time? And you also cannot say, well, babies are different, they are more important. Because if not all people are equal, and you can choose a special group who has more rights, why can't I choose a special little group too, and say white people are more important? As ageism is the same as racism.
Furthermore, there is a right called bodily autonomy. You cannot be forced to undergo bone marrow extraction surgery against your will. Not even if that is the only way to save your own life. Let alone to save someone else who is on a transplant list for bone marrow. No matter who is on the transplant list, you cannot extract organs from unwilling people. The basic human right that forbids it is called bodily autonomy. The exact same right also forbids you to rape people. The exact same right also forbids you to kidnap someone and use their body as if they were your marionette doll. The exact same right also forbids you to ban abortions. Because people cannot be forced to share their organs, bodily fluids with anyone. From that point on, a thing is capable of risking your health, you cannot be forced into it. From that point on, a thing is capable of violating your bodily autonomy, you cannot be forced into it. And I used the words capable of with a reason. Because the percentage of risk does not matter here.
If a man doesn't want a bone marrow extraction surgery only because it leaves an ugly scar, you cannot say his reasoning is elective so you can force him to get the surgery. His reasoning doesn't matter. There is a risk of harm, it cannot be forced onto people. By the law of the basic human right called bodily autonomy. And another basic human right called self-defense. Meaning, every single abortion is under self-defense and bodily autonomy rights, no matter how elective it is. Because every single pregnancy causes harm to the pregnant woman's health, and every single pregnancy is a risk of death, stroke and bodily harm.
Furthermore, gestational state does not matter. The womb is the mother's. The belly is the mother's. The vagina is the mother's. She has the right to defend that body. If she wants the fetus outside of her body, it gets outside. If she wants it outside with the least possible harm to her own womb, belly, vagina, it gets outside in pieces just to not harm the mother.